Hey everybody, it's James, June 18th, about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. Now, this video is not investment advice for educational purposes only. And another thing I want to say is that myself and my subs did take a trade down in here in the morning. I talked about that I thought there would be another push up. Lo and behold, we got another push. The reason why is the prior moves in Bitcoin were rather lackluster. Now, one thing I want to talk about is that these moves had a very low increase in volume, meaning less and less people are participating in these big bar moves than we've seen in the past. 9 billion here. I think this move was like 5 or 6 billion there. This one was like 7 or 8 billion, maybe slightly higher. And same thing with this. That was somewhere in those neighborhoods. But there was much larger volume being traded. And what I see this market doing is that, yes, there's going to be guppy runs. Yes, I've said that in my prior videos. Nothing goes down in a straight line. Nothing goes up in a straight line. But what we see here is that there's a series of arches in price, and price is getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we're trying to make these moves up. So I think a best case scenario, price flops around in this area and builds out a bigger base. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've said multiple times that you have the bubble top and then you have a return to normalization in the market, which creates the base to build the energy necessary for the market, if it is going to survive, to eventually rival the bubble top at 20,000. So it's going to require time, meaning a lot of horizontal price movement. Now, if you do not believe me, look at these moves. Look at the vertical price nature, or look at the vertical price action, and now look at this. You see how it's getting more and more elongated? That is showing the basing horizontal formation in price, showing that it's also going to take a lot of time for price to make these moves, right? Now, you got these wild and crazy people that are apparently, I don't know what they're on, but we got people from the YouTube to mainstream media to Bitcoin websites that are talking about Bitcoin going to 50,000, 100,000, 10 trillion, whatever the crazy figures are. But and they're calling for like end of the year giant figures, like we're gonna blow past 20,000 by the end of the year. Well, I think if that was going to happen, we would have definitely produced more of a big move here. Instead, since we're producing more of a horizontal base at best, okay? And I'll kind of explain that in a little bit. This could take months of time to literally flop around in this rectangular box I am drawing right here. And if you do not believe me, look at any bubble market that survived, and if you can chart it, you can see it takes a long time for price to recuperate, to build the energy necessary to eventually rival the bubble top. The NASDAQ took 15 years to get back there. Does not mean Bitcoin's gonna take 15 years, but let's just kind of put things into perspective. I know there's a lot of people that are hyped up on who knows what, and they're calling, you know, for over 20,000 like next month and 50,000 by the year end, or 1 million by the year end, or some crazy figure like that. That's just not real. Like, that's insane. That's insanity. If you hear people talking about those numbers, like, you need to just watch it for entertainment purposes only. But seriously, if you're making decisions that are on numbers even greater than 7,800 at this point, you're literally like crazy, because you're going to hype yourself into making decisions that are not intelligent whatsoever. And I'm not trying to like say you're an idiot, but if people are projecting these wild and crazy numbers in their head, like we're going to go at 20,000 by September, you are going to make decisions that are not going to be intelligent. Now, if you're going to hold this for a long time, right, and that's it, like you're going to set it, you're going to forget it, then keep your screen off, shut it off, and look at it in 10, 20 years down the road. If you're making a decision here on a short-term trade and you're thinking about 20,000, what kind of decision do you think you're going to make? And same thing, if you're short and you're thinking about like 1,000 or 2,000 Bitcoin, what kind of decision do you think you're going to make? You're going to go crazy. You're going to get way overconfident. You're going to stick your neck out, and more than likely your head's going to get chopped off. And if you get lucky and you get a good winning trade, It's going to build your ego up so bad, and I swear you're going to get hammered down. And I say this because it's what's happened to myself. It's what happens to tons of traders. Nobody gets away from it. Nobody gets away from the greed. Otherwise, you would not be investing. You're investing your money to grow your money because you want more money. And you start to see these big swings, and you get greedy, and you start to look back in the past, and you hear all the hype on the stories, from YouTube, the articles, the mainstream media, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to get it too. I'm going to be on the moon with John McAfee and have a Lamborghini and a unicorn and everything else. And it's going to lead to some really stupid decisions, and people are just going to get absolutely wrecked. And that's what we see in this market. And that's why I think we're seeing less and less volume come back into this market, is because more and more people are waking up to this hold that we saw across the market, like a big marketing campaign for these people just to pile their money in and literally take money from your grandma's like savings account, put it in here because everyone's going to be a trillionaire. And we've seen what's happened in the market. The market's just continuing to fizzle out because big money is escaping. And if big money was staying in here, we would not see this. Why? Because if big money was in here, the trend would have already changed. The trend would not be going horizontal. Big money might be here to try to create a position, but this might be the accumulation phase for big money. And if it is the accumulation phase for big money, you better believe it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be erratic in nature, and it's going to whip a lot of people out, and a lot of people are going to get impatient. They're going to leave, and then when price does make the move, they're going to come right back, chase it, thinking about all this crazy crap that happened in the bubble phase. So that's what I see on the bigger picture. The market's fading, the volume's fading, everything's lining up to a fading market. If we cannot break above 7,800 and sustain trading this area, meaning we do not come back down below this area, then we should progress up. If we fall through it and cannot stay above it, we are going to come down and we will slice through 6,000 like a hot knife through butter. And all this is just another attempt to sucker in as many guppies as possible to lead them right to the slaughter. And it's just the same repeatable pattern over and over and over again. And I'll tell you a secret that's not even a secret anymore. These big bars, I'm pretty sure every single person watching this video knows exactly how that's going to play out. Right? I don't even have to answer the question, but in case you're perplexed and you don't know which way it's going to go, it's going to flop over. So we've seen it habitually in this market. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, look, just go back on the chart and just look at any time you've seen a big bar, and then look at the price action, what unfolded in the future. So that's what we see here. And the fact that there's a lack of volume behind it, it's just not showing true strength in this move, true conviction to this move. It'd be different if we were trading 9, 10, 11, 12 billion. That would completely change the dynamic of this analysis. But as of now, it's really, really lackluster. And I start to see the mainstream media hype it up here. I saw mainstream media hype it up here. And I'm sure they're going to start hyping it up again. And we already know what that's going to do. We already know the mainstream media is going to get their fangs and claws out, and they're going to go on a hunt and kill as many sheep as they possibly can along the way. And they're going to giggle, and you're going to turn on the TV at night, and you're going to watch the mainstream media network that you thought was telling you the truth and realize that they just led you right to the slaughter, and they're going to giggle the entire time they do it. It's just the unfortunate nature of this beast, and it's what we see in this market. So I don't mean to make it so doom and gloom. I don't want this market to dwindle and fade away. I would like to talk about this market in a positive light. I'd like this to become a bull market bigger than fiat, bigger than, well, I don't know if it's necessarily going to get bigger than fiat, but just a gigantic market that could rival trading in fiat, rival trading in commodities, rival trading in the stock market. I want to see that. I want to see a nice base form and a bull market emerge from that. But at this point, I would do myself an injustice, and I would do you an injustice if I told you anything other than the lackluster events occurring here in Bitcoin, and to just be wary. If you're trading and you're a long-term trader, I would just say set some stops where you feel comfortable. Like if you're in this thing for the long run and you've been holding Bitcoin for a long time, you need to come up with a mental figure to where you're either going to sell Bitcoin or you're just going to shut the TV and charts off and come back to it in 5 or 10 years down the road and just let it do its magic, right? Maybe periodically change. But if you're a short-term trader and you're trying to get long and you're not shorting this market, I definitely highly advise stops. And just have, have figures that you're comfortable with letting go, like 1%, 1.5%, 2%, something like that. It's obviously going to vary from coin to coin because the volatility is going to change from Bitcoin to Neo to Ripple, and so forth. Tron, the Dogecoin or Dogecoin, whatever, however you say that. Anyways, I think everybody understands what I'm saying here. So just be cautious, okay? I feel like Bitcoin and these cryptos are really walking on thin ice. The ice is cracking. Litecoin's already fallen in. Neo's already fallen in. And what I mean by that is that they've both broken to new lows for 2018. It's not a good sign at all. And if Bitcoin follows suit and cracks the ice and falls in, I guarantee you the rest of the market's going to follow right down as well too. And it's not going to be good until Bitcoin can find its bottom, and who knows where that is. I don't want to guess. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm going to take this day by day. That's why I do these videos. I trade on a daily basis. I do not make wild and crazy predictions. I do not know anybody in money management that's managing big figures of money that says like, oh, well, because mainstream media or because I can draw this line like this that says Bitcoin's going to 20,000, we're just going to buy here and do that, right? You can do some analysis to project price, but you have to be flexible the entire time in this market and in various markets. And if you're not flexible to the market, I guarantee you, you're gonna get your rear handed to you multiple times. And that's just the unfortunate nature of this beast. Investing is not easy, or every single person out there would be a trillionaire and well beyond that. And we would have so much money, nobody would know what to do with. And it would really just undermine the entire fiat system. So anyways, that's it for tonight. I know I kind of went on a little rant there, but it's just lackluster and it's nothing exciting in this market. And if something does turn up exciting, believe me, I'm going to talk about it. I do not want to talk about this market this way. And I doubt you even want to hear the market talked about this way. But again, I thank everybody for the time, the support. I thank all my subscribers. I'll produce another video tomorrow. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow, depending on what social media platform you're on. And I'll talk to everybody tomorrow evening. If you've not joined the Slack channel, that's absolutely free. You can go to my site, geometriccharts.com. Check out the bottom. There's the links to my social media accounts. There's the link to my Slack channel. And if you're looking for something that's a little more in depth, like to where I'm talking about actually trading and stops and profit targets and so forth, you can check out my site, geometriccharts.com. That's like the same thing. My subscribers, the ones who entered here with me, that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of the subscription service, and that's what I'm laying out to them in the morning and at night and then throughout the day when I get time. I try to answer everyone's questions and get back to them and walk them through the trade as much as I possibly can. But that's through my subscription service, and you can check out my site, geometriccharts.com. Other than that, have a great day. Have a great night.